Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the top 25 that came out. Again, I've been busy recently, so I haven't much time to be able to do stuff, and this is one of the things I've not been able to do. But I'm recording this today on Tuesday, so if I can get out hopefully the same day. If it's Wednesday, I am sorry about that. But let's get to the top 25 and let's get top 25 and discuss everything. Number one, Georgia with 55 votes. That's not a surprise. Georgia's been known as the best team in college football for the past year and a half, I'd say. After they beat Alabama the first time, most people were giving them recognition. And then throughout the year before, they had like the recognition out whenever they beat Tennessee. The Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, Tennessee team, handily, it was no, they're the best team in college football. So they're right now still number one. But they've had struggles. They've definitely had their struggles, and I don't know why, but it seems like they play only the second half offensively, because they have at least the last three quarters. The first quarter, they just decide not to play offensively. A lot of times they struggle in the first quarter. The team's close. Georgia picked a very good year to have a lot of bad games. But you do have some matchups that are interesting. You have to play at Jordan-Hare Stadium, which is Auburn Stadium. You have to play Missouri at one point. Missouri was beat you last year. Missouri's looking pretty good. You have to play Florida. Florida's actually not looking half bad right now. And then we'll see what happens with them against Kentucky. They have to play Kentucky at one point. Ole Miss, and the main one that more people have at least marked on their calendars, if anything, Tennessee. And that's just because the explosiveness Tennessee can give 40 points, but also they could do it against Florida and make a lot of fans upset, including me. But that's not the conversation for today. Check out my other video for that. Michigan at number two. Why do they always struggle in the first half against Rutgers? I don't know why. The same thing for them. Michigan's not a top two team. They're not. Let's just get that straight out the way. I know at least 4 other teams on this thing I would take over Michigan at number 2 spot, because they do not perform well in the first half of games. And they're not even like Georgia, who's played at South Carolina. They've played Rutgers, and they've played teams that are very, very, very inferior. So, like, let's see if Michigan might drop one against Penn State or Ohio State. We'll see. Ohio State looks a little iffy. But at number 3, we have Texas. Another team, that's the first one I'm going to mention that I think should be ahead of Michigan. They have 2 spots. They have 2 votes being number 1. Texas looks very good right now. Quinn Ewers is staying healthy for the moment. And it's looking like this Red River rivalry game that's going to happen pretty soon is going to be very important for the Big 12. And we'll see what happens. But Texas is looking very good right now, offensively and defensively, especially their front 4. Shout out to them. Number 4 on this rankings, with 1 vote for number 1, which is very surprising, actually, Ohio State. Ohio State with a very close win against Notre Dame. Couldn't ask for anything more of a close game. It came out to the final play. And if you score, you win. If you don't, you lose. That's at the 1-yard line that they scored. So they won. And big win for Notre Dame. Proved that their defense might actually be one of the better defenses in the country, because they held a lot of teams to not many points. And then he held Sam Hartman's led team to 14, I'm pretty sure, in Notre Dame Stadium, which is very impressive. So shout out to Ohio State. And then they have to figure out their stuff offensively, but when you needed the score, they got the score. And then number 5, another team I think is better than Michigan, with 3 spots for the number 1. 3 votes for the number 1 spot. Florida State. Florida State, big win against Clemson. The only thing I have a question for Florida State is Jordan Travis' health. And sometimes their offense seems to stagnate in the 4th quarter. They showed against Boston College whenever they just came back randomly, and also Clemson whenever they just couldn't score in the second half. Their defense had to score for them. And if their defense didn't score for them, they might have lost the game. And they've had a lot of things go their way. But Clemson, again, proves that they have big problems when the game's on the line. They showed against Duke a lot of problems, and Florida State, they showed a whole lot of problems. So, good one for Florida State, though. That's a tough place to play at. Number 6, Penn State. Penn State's one seems like that might be better than Michigan, but they've not been fully tested yet. A lot of preview teams. I think they played West Virginia before. But good win here. I don't think they moved up a spot. So shout out to Penn State. The run game looks very good. I love Nick Singleton. I think he's very good. So, yeah. Number 7. This team, in my opinion, should be a top. This was my personal rankings for this year. This team is at least close to the top 5. I would put them at number 6 on this list. Maybe number 5. Washington, with 1 vote for the number 1 spot. Shout out to that one dude or female that voted them for number 1 because they look very good. Let's get that straight. They look very good right now. Michael Penix looking like a Heisman contender, and their offense has been very well performing. And they put up 31 points, I'm pretty sure, in the first quarter against California, maybe 30. Wow, that's a lot. And you look at this offense and it's like, how do you stop this? It's incredible. And there's no one in the Pac-12 that has an elite defense that has proven right now to stop a team that has a great offense. And we'll get to the one team that I thought might have a chance a little later on. There's actually Utah's very good offensively, but you have to play them at Utah for that to fully carry. And even then, they allowed 42 points at USC last year. So it's not like their defense is always great. And number 8, another team. This is the last team I would put up over Michigan. USC. USC, not a great win against Arizona State, but we knew this defense was not great. But we knew who was, and that was Caleb Williams. And he showed out again why he was great, why he's known as a great quarterback. Shout out to Caleb Williams, and maybe stay up to 2 a.m. to finally watch the ending to that game, because if it's a close game, I'm going to watch it. Yes, I'm in East Coast time, so yeah. Number 9, Oregon. Oregon with a dominating win against Colorado. Now they crack the official, like they're in the single-digit rankings. So shout out to Oregon, very good win against California. So, excuse me, yeah. Number 10, Utah. Utah is very interesting. I don't think they had Cam Rising this game. They might have. I don't think they did. And their team's still winning. They've beat Florida. They beat Baylor. They've beat UCLA. They beat a lot of good teams. They've earned this number 10 spot. So shout out to Utah for what they've done. 14-7 win of the pick 6 to start off the game. So their defense has played very phenomenal. Number 11, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, last play they lost on at home. Sucks. You can rebound from this, though. You have a lot of important games later in the year, like USC, like a Clemson game. We'll see what happens with that. But this is a lot of people expected Ohio State to win this game. I expected them to win this game before the year started, and they did. So, yeah, no shame in losing the Ohio State. Maybe there is. We'll see. Number 12, Alabama. Alabama looked pretty good against Ole Miss, especially defensively. Their defense looks very good. We'll see if that continues against other teams like LSU. They're playing Mississippi State. Mississippi State just looks like shambles right now. I do not know what they're doing defensively. I think Spencer Rattler completed 17 straight passes. That is ridiculous. And before he threw in a completion for the whole game. I think he started off the game 17 for 17. It's ridiculous. I don't think he threw an incompletion until like the 3rd or 4th quarter. It's wild. LSU at number 13. I'm okay with this ranking. I think they should be a little bit back. Now, Arkansas just forgot to use. They forgot to keep their timeouts. Yeah. But LSU's looked very good since that Florida State game. Maybe Florida State just has their number and no one else does. We'll see what happens, though. Number 14, Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Cincinnati, held them to 6 points. Their defense looking pretty good so far, which is what Brent Venables is known for. And their offense did enough. Dylan Gabriel, their offense looks pretty solid. Can explosive when they need to, and they just barely need to get more points than the other team. They can do that too. They at least score 20, but that's definitely enough. Number 15, North Carolina. North Carolina's had a win against Appalachian State, South Carolina, Minnesota, and whoever they played this week. I'm not great at remembering who teams played. Who did they play? I'll put up whoever they played. But they are still undefeated. They're looking very good, and they have one of the better chances to win the ACC this year. Let's see what happens. Number 16, this is my opinion the most underrated team in the college football world that no one is talking about, and everyone should be talking about. Let's keep it honest. Washington State. Washington State's quarterback is looking very good. He is a Heisman contender, and their team has just played very good against teams that have notoriously good defenses. Oregon State was the best defensive Pac-12 last year. They put up 38 or something like that on them, And then Wisconsin is, of course, historically good at defense. They've put up over 30 on them. So you're looking at this team, and it's like this team can score, and they play good enough defense that they can hold other team to just a few amount of points, and the offense can, which is all you need to do, really. That's all you need to do. So, shout out to Washington State. I'd put them above North Carolina and LSU. Maybe not above North Carolina. Put them above LSU, though. LSU got destroyed by Florida State. So, yeah. Number 17, Duke. Another team looks very good. They can prove themselves even more this week when they play Notre Dame. I have Duke winning this game in my preseason predictions. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. Team looking very good. Shout out to Duke. Number 18, Miami. Miami's also a team looking very good. Beat A&M, and they've kind of not played any great opponents since then, but they have to make some. They end up playing some good teams. So we'll see what happens when they come to that time. But right now they're looking very good. Moved up 2 spots in the rankings. Number 19, Oregon State. They allow a lot of points, and they dropped down 5 rankings. Not a lot to say here. They're still in the top 20. They can definitely rebound from this. A lot of important games later on in the year, and pretty soon, actually. So, yeah, they can definitely rebound from this. Number 20, Ole Miss. I said number 19 for Oregon State, number 20 for Ole Miss. Ole Miss scored 10 points against Alabama. That usually is nothing bad, but since Bama's defense has looked depleted a bit, it was very disappointing for Ole Miss fans to see that happen. Because it seemed like they had some successful drives and they just stalled out. And they're relying on long 4th down conversions, and then they just you can't get all of them. You just can't. And so, yeah. Is Lane Kiffin ever going to beat Bama? Because that was probably his best chance this year to do it, and he just didn't do it. Number 21, Tennessee. I'll watch this game because I'm a Tennessee fan, and I'm actually going to the game up in Neyland against South Carolina this weekend. 7:30 on ESPN Network. Dark mode. We're going through the dark uniforms. They destroyed Kentucky last year when they did it, and I hope for the same this year because that'd be very fun. At night, 7:30, so yeah. But Tennessee played very good against UTSA. UTSA was one of those teams that maybe watch out for. People are saying that, and they sold off 28-0. Their offense looked more explosive. And can we just run the ball, please? Just run it. Don't throw a pass until you have to. Joe Milton can run. I would love this team to just become a running team. Joe Milton is a very good runner. Dylan Sampson, Jalen Wright, Jabari Small, all good runners. And maybe some jet sweeps too. We got one of the fastest guys in the country of Squirrel White. Maybe do that. But yeah. Number 22, Florida. I don't know why they're behind us. In Tennessee, they beat us. They really did. Why are they behind us? Put them ahead. Put them ahead. They deserve it. I hate to say that, but they do. Florida beat... who did they beat? I don't know. They didn't do that dominantly, but they won. That's what you got to do. And they play Kentucky. Kentucky's had their number recently, so it took them about 30-something years to get there, but now they have their number. So let's see if they hold on to that. I'm pretty sure it's at Kentucky, too. This is a huge game for the SEC East. Then Missouri cracks the top 25. These next 3 teams were previously unranked teams. Number 23, Missouri. Missouri looks very good. I said before the year started, I'm pretty sure that Missouri has a chance, if they beat Kansas State, to be 5-0 when they play LSU. And they have humongous games. They have Tennessee, they have Georgia, they have teams like that on their schedule. You could have a legitimate chance to be 5-0. It would just be Kansas State because this week you're playing Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt just lost to UNLV, and they suck. Like usual. We had a little hope for Vanderbilt this year, and that just went down the drain. So, yeah, that's crazy. The thing about Missouri could be 5-0. That's wild. Number 24, Kansas. Kansas looked very good this year so far. They beat BYU. They beat Illinois. Couldn't ask for much more. They got to prove themselves against other very good Big 12 teams, but right now they're looking very good. They earned this top 25 spot. Good for them. And then number 25, surpriser. Fresno State. Shout out to Fresno State. I don't know much about them this year. I know they're undefeated. I'm not going to say much about them because I don't know enough. Only thing I know is that they were barely ranked in the top 25, just above Kansas State, with only 7 votes or 7 points. Yeah, points. Points is some type of thing. Separating the two. So, yeah. And like the coaches poll had Kansas State there. Barely, but shout out to Fresno State. Good for them. I don't know much about them, so I'm not going to say much about them. So, but the more they keep winning, I'll learn more about them. But yeah, hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. Put on the comments what you feel about this. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you for all the support. Hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all, and God bless y'all.